Hey, welcome everyone to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. I am your host, Ernest James, friend to fatherless daughters on Instagram. I want to welcome you to my very first podcast episode. I am so excited about everything that's going on and everything that's going to come from this. Yeah, a little bit about myself. I am a husband, I am a minister, I am a father, I am a male mentor, and a fatherless daughter advocate. And I decided to start this platform after sharing my message to fatherless daughters on different people's podcasts. And on one such podcast, after the podcast was over, I had a talk with the host, and they were like, "Yo, you need to have your own podcast." And so I just thought about it for a minute, and then I said, you know what, let me go on and jump out here and see where this leads me. So on this platform, we're going to talk about healing in different areas of our lives, actually in every area of our lives, healing and overcoming, right? Because my motto and my mission is to help people to deal, heal, and fulfill. Let's deal with your problem, heal from the pain, and fulfill your purpose, right? In every area of our lives. So the way I started this was when I started my platform. I started actually as a male mentoring platform called Man Up, which is an acronym for Men Activating Newly Untapped Potential. Man Up, which was my male mentor program. And the reason why I started that program because I grew up in a household with a mother and a father, my mom and my dad. I am the fifth child of nine, right? I'm the fifth child of nine, the firstborn son. And so I grew up in a household with both my mom and my dad. Yet at the same time, I had family and friends who didn't have a father, whose father wasn't around, right? And I remember, growing up, you hang out with your friends, and you guys, you play the dozens, which is the old school term, but basically means you talk about each other, you crack jokes on each other. And, my friends would always crack jokes on my dad, because my dad was a mechanic, and sometimes he drank a little bit, so he would be drunk a lot of the times. And, at that time, by my friends being around, they would see that. So when we get to talking about each other and cracking jokes on each other, they would always bring that up. Oh yeah, I know I seen your dad yesterday. He was tore up drunk and whatever, whatever. And I remember one such time, it was me and my brother and some of our friends, and my one of my friends was going on, talking about my dad is going on and on, and when he finished, my brother said to him, he said, "You know what's funny? You can tell me everything about my dad, but I can't tell you anything about yours." And of course, at that moment, everybody was like, "Oh, it's funny." Everybody's laughing, like, "Oh, yeah, he smashed you, whatever." But that comment stuck with me, because these were my friends. And not only were my friends, but I knew that there were other children and there were other people, who was growing up without their fathers, who not only could someone else not tell them about their father, they couldn't answer their own questions about their father because they didn't know who he was. So I grew up with that thought that, at some point I would have to do something, or at least I wanted to do something, that would help those people or those young men who was growing up without their fathers. And so as I grew older and came into myself, I started the Man Up mentoring program. At least I put it together right before COVID. We were about to launch into a school. I had a school lined up. I had connected with a guy that worked at the school. We had a school lined up. We was going to start it at the school as a after school program, and then COVID hit. So they kind of put all of that on hold. But because I had already had it set up, I said, well, you know what? Let me go to Instagram and just kind of put my message out on Instagram, and that's what I did. So I started the Man Up Ministries on Instagram. The page is still up. I don't use it as much anymore because I got into the Friends of Fatherless Daughters uh, platform. And what happened with that was, like I said, I'm a husband, and me and my wife have been married for several years, probably about 5 or 6 years. A great marriage, everything going good. And then right about the fifth year, we started having some challenges and some issues. And so as we began to work through it to try to figure out what was going on, what I realized was my wife and I had differences in our growing up. Because again, I came from a two-parent household, but she came from a single-parent household, which was just her mother. So she was a fatherless daughter. And because of her being a fatherless daughter, she had some daddy issues, for lack of a better term, and some ideas and some things that was different than mine because of our upbringing. And so we started to have this, back and forth type thing going on where we had to figure it out. And so in the midst of that, us working that out, I began to look at some things with myself, and I realized that every woman that I had ever talked to in my whole life was a fatherless daughter. And so for some reason, either I was attracted to them or they were attracted to me. But whatever happened or however it worked out, the dynamic was that I was connecting with these fatherless daughters. And, we were having, which I didn't recognize then, but we were having these issues in our relationship because of the miscommunication or the misguidance of these daughters who didn't have their fathers in their lives. And so I thought, you know what, let me try to get some help, or let me try to, see what I can do in some type of way. And so I started looking for some help, and it didn't come through the way that I wanted it to, right? But in the midst of me looking for that, what I found was that in the midst of my own ideas and my own thoughts, and I began to convey those thoughts, and they were like, "Hey, you seem like you have more information on helping fatherless daughters in relationships and dealing with, different things that they're going through, just probably just as much as the person that I was talking to." So I said, "Okay, well," I thought about it, and I said, "Well, let me get out here on Instagram again and put out the Friends of Fatherless Daughters page and just begin to talk about it and share my ideas and share my viewpoint." And as I did that, it kind of took on a life of its own, right? It kind of took up a life of its own, went forward, and I ended up doing several podcasts. And basically, here I am now, starting my own. So when I came to my podcast, what I wanted to do, I said, okay, I'm a male mentor, I'm a motivational speaker, I'm a fatherless daughter advocate, and I want to kind of touch all those things. But not only just all those things, but I know that there are so many different areas in our lives that we need help with. And I said, you know what? I've come across so many different speakers, so many different coaches. I said, you know what? I'm going to teach. I'm going to do my thing and talk about, mentorship and just, motivate people and uplift people, and definitely the fatherless daughters. But I decided, let me reach out to other, speakers, other coaches, other influencers also, so that they can come in and share their viewpoint and share their stories, and also share their services and things that they can do to help us to heal. Because I can only talk about what I know, but I know that other people have different things that they're going through, different things that they're dealing with, that they may need to talk to, that I might not be an expert on that specific field. So I'm going to bring other coaches and other people in to help me to deliver a message that can help other people heal. All right. Right. Okay, cool. So again, that's just me in a nutshell. So in this very first episode, I just kind of wanted to share my background a little bit, share my thoughts on why I even started this platform. And again, so my mission, my personal mission, is to help people to heal, and fulfill. Deal with your problems, heal from the pain, and fulfill your purpose. And oftentimes our purpose is connected to our pain, right? So in one of my areas time of reflection, God gave me this quote, and it says that pain births purpose, purpose births progress, and progress is the evidence that God is at work, right? So pain births purpose. So a lot of times we don't know what our purpose is, right? But I found out that a lot of times our purpose is birthed out of pain, and not necessarily our pain, but pain in general. Because a lot of times people most likely don't do great things, or don't move to do great things from a enjoyable um, point, right? So you're not just out having fun. Oh yeah, I'm at this party, I'm having so much fun, I want to change the world. No, that's not how it happens. It's usually it's a pain point, and at some pain point, that pain point kicks in and says, you know what, there's hurt here, there's pain here, I want to do something about it. So if we're looking, trying to find out what our purpose is, right? Look for the things that hurts you. Look for the things that pains you, or the pain that is there that moves you to do something about it. So, for instance, you may not be homeless, right? Or you may not be hungry, but we see those infomercials with the kids in different countries, or the homeless, about the homeless, and say give money, right? So you may not be homeless, and you may not be hungry, but that pain that person who is homeless and who is hungry may resonate with you enough that you want to do something about it, and therefore it sparks your purpose, right? So the pain births purpose. Now, purpose, once you get that purpose, now you have to do something about it. So as you start to do something about it, then we start noticing the progress. Okay, what changes can I make? What things can I do? What can I build to make this, take this pain that I've turned into a purpose? Now, what can I do to bring this purpose, to bring a change in this purpose? And that's when we start seeing the progress. And as the progress starts to go forth, and you are seeing these changes work, and you're seeing these changes move forward, and you start asking yourself, okay, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Is this really working? Is this really bringing forth the evidence? Was it really bringing forth the things that I want to come out of it? That's when we look at that progress. And that progress is the evidence that God is at work. So if you're out here working and you're grinding and you're putting in all your effort to get this thing going, and then you see that it's working, you see that the progress is kicking in, then you follow that progress, because that is the evidence that God is giving you that this thing is working, right? So that's what happened with my Fatherless Daughters platform, because when I started, I was with the male mentor program, the male mentoring platform. And so I started the Fatherless Daughters just to kind of, voice my viewpoint or whatever. And it kind of took off on its own, right? And so I said, well, if it's taking off like this, that was the progress, right? That was the progress. So, well, let me follow this progress, because the progress is the evidence that God is at work. So again, the quote that God gave me was, pain births purpose, purpose births progress, and progress is the evidence that God is at work. So as long as we have the evidence that God is using us, that God is working to us, that God is working through us, then we can know and feel fulfilled in the fact that we're doing what God put us on this earth to do. Okay, cool. So again, this is just my first episode, episode 1, season 1, episode 1, who am I and why. So just giving you a brief description of who I am and why I started this platform and what it's all about. I look forward to connecting with you. I look forward to you listening. I look forward to connecting with the other speakers and coaches and teachers and everyone that's going to come on into this platform in the future. Again, thank you so very much for tuning in to the very first episode of Deal to Heal with E. James. I am your host, Ernest James, also friend to Fatherless Daughters on Instagram. And until next time, I pray that God stay with you, be with you, bless you as we move forward in this next journey of our lives Thank you very much for tuning in. Be blessed.